So this is the Chairperson's report for the annual general meeting for 2021. So firstly, I'd like to welcome all our members to the annual general meeting of 2021, a year which saw the continuation of the COVID-19 pandemic and the associated challenges which that brought. But a year in which we continued with as much determination and purpose towards our overall vision of a society where no person's life would be limited by epilepsy. Before I give an overview of our activities throughout the year, I'd like to firstly pay tribute to several people who will be forever held dearly by all at Epilepsy Ireland. Firstly, I would like to pay tribute to our former Epilepsy Ireland board member, Cathy, who, after 40 years of service on our board, officially stepped down in 2021. Tessa spent many years working to develop our organisation into what it is today and served as chairperson for many years. We miss Tessa, but I think it's fair to say that she more than deserves her well-earned rest and retirement from our board and her time with her family and indeed with her new job. So I want to pay tribute to Tessa personally and thank her for her guidance and her wisdom as I took over this my role as chairperson, and wish her all the very best. I'm deeply saddened to report the passing of the late Major General Vincent Savino. Vinny, as he was known to us, passed away in August, having spent decades closely involved with Epilepsy Ireland before stepping down from the board earlier this year. He also acted as honorary president of our organisation, which included chairing our AGM, and was a source of great wisdom, sound judgment and strategic clarity during his time on our board. On behalf of all at Epilepsy Ireland, I want to thank Vinny for his incredible service and extend our condolences to all Vinny's family and his friends. Another great friend we lost since the last AGM was Bernard Hughes. Bernard was one of our most long-standing volunteers and for over 30 years was an immense presence in the South, both in terms of fundraising and awareness. Bernard was the de facto face of our organisation in Cork until his retirement in 2016. He passed away in November 2021 and is dearly missed. I'd also like to thank 3 other members of the board who stepped down in 2021, Carl Sarsteiner, Tony Caravanusis and Dr. Joyce Senior. Carl was dedicated to improving awareness of the condition and a fabulous fundraiser. She's sorely missed by me and all at Epilepsy Ireland, and we wish her well. Tony played a huge role in improving awareness and our campaigns in recent years. As a director at Havas, he helped develop and create awareness campaigns and have them promoted across all platforms. I thank him for his patience and his vision. Dr. Joyce Senior is an educational psychologist based at UCD. Her research and clinical area of expertise is in relation to behavioural and learning associated with genetic, neurological and rare conditions. And she's published in peer-reviewed journals on areas including epilepsy, ADHD and autism. And Joyce has been served on the board for quite a long time and is still very much available for advice when is necessary. But now on to the focus of our work and the year that was. 2021 was the final year of our strategic plan for 2017 to 2021. We worked towards our vision to achieve a society where no person's life is limited by epilepsy by focusing on 6 key strategic pillars: support and information, awareness and advocacy, training and education, research, fundraising and governance. Sport and information. With it being the second year of the pandemic, we continue to deliver many of our services in online settings, something which will remain as part of our service delivery as normality returns. Despite the challenges of COVID-19, it was a year in which we saw record demand, with over 22,000 contacts being recorded with our services. This number alone shows the importance of adapting our services to continue to be there during what were, and still are, trying times for people with epilepsy and their families and carers. Our support services are provided by a team of 11 community resource officers based in Dublin, Cork, Galway, Shannon, Kilkenny, Killarney, Tullamore, Limerick and Navan. In addition, services are provided by the National Information Officer and through the Epilepsy Ireland funded Advanced Nurse Practitioner. The range of services offered by this team includes one-to-one support, community and hospital-based outreach support services, educational and self-management programs, support groups, events and seminars, a range of resources and publications, and increasingly personal advocacy. Our online calendar became a fixture of 2021 with special themed events organised throughout the year. This involved working with leading experts in Irish epilepsy services to deliver focused events on diet, medical cannabis and epilepsy, and women with epilepsy, to name just three of many. 2,745 people attended these seminars in 2021. The year also saw the welcome return of our national conference, albeit in an online setting. Organised sessions included a special session on teens with epilepsy, on seizure alert alarms, a discussion on medical cannabis and epilepsy featuring some of Ireland's leading clinicians, and an event aimed to promote and understand and awareness of epilepsy research. 400 people attended our online conference last year. Other notable activities during the year included the distribution of our epilepsy pack for educators to all secondary schools in the country, the completion of our Sláinte Care funded project working to provide group-based epilepsy education programs to people with a new diagnosis, and a successful collaboration with MS Ireland, Migraine Ireland, and ABI Ireland on a series of online events called Building Brain Health While Living with a Neurological Condition. On awareness and advocacy. Every year, Epilepsy Ireland utilises various awareness campaigns aimed at increasing understanding and awareness of epilepsy. For International Epilepsy Day 2021, we introduced 3 key words to the public: time, safe, and stay. Our campaign aimed to provide the public with a visual analogy of what a seizure can be like. For example, a computer crashing, and what they should do to respond to a seizure. Again, time, safe, and stay. Building on the success of the 2020 campaign, I'm pleased to report the campaign was once again positively received, and we estimate the campaign had a reach of over 1 million people. Key highlights include digital ads running on leading websites such as the Irish Times and RTE, huge political support with politicians using their channels to promote our key message, and can I say that was across all political parties and none, thankfully, and an appearance from longtime Epilepsy Ireland Ambassador Joe Schmidt on the Late Late Show to promote the message of the campaign. This success would not have been possible without the incredible Epilepsy Ireland volunteers who fronted the campaign this year, namely Nicola O'Sullivan, Grace Darcy, Liam Murphy, Wayne O'Reilly and Oliver Kilmartin. And I want to thank all of them for their time and efforts in helping to raise awareness. In terms of advocacy, we highlighted our commitment to progressing key issues of importance to the epilepsy community by expanding the role of Communications Officer to that of Advocacy and Communications Manager. Throughout the year, campaigning continued on several fronts, and there was noted progress on each. This included a very positive meeting with the Minister for Social Protection on the issue of free travel for people with epilepsy, commitments from the Minister for Education to establish a new deferred sitting of the Leaving Cert for students who experienced serious illness during their exam cycle, and confirmation from the HSE that Epidiolex would be reimbursed in Ireland. We also received clarity from the Attorney General that how online attacks on people with photosensitive epilepsy would be viewed under Irish law. And the establishment of an inquiry into the historical licensing and prescribing of sodium valproate continued to be progressed. These are all key campaigns that have been advanced by Epilepsy Ireland, most of which are ongoing. And most of which may add that the work goes unseen. SUDEP Action Day is a key day in Epilepsy Ireland's calendar as we aim to raise awareness on this rare but devastating aspect of epilepsy. To mark SUDEP Action Day, we wrote to every coroner in the country, highlighting the epilepsy death register for Ireland, an extremely important tool in gathering information on people with epilepsy who have passed away. On education and training. In 2021, we experienced increased demand for our training service, resulting in record numbers of healthcare professionals and teachers being trained in epilepsy awareness and the administration of buccal midazolam. The aim of the training programme is for participants to develop a greater understanding of epilepsy, understand the role of the emergency rescue medication, and receive instruction in the correct administration of buccal midazolam. In total, we trained over 3,000 individuals during the year. Training was mainly online, but we also returned to in-person events towards the latter part of the year. Our QQI Level 5 one-year course, Training for Success, continued in what is now the ATU Sligo campus. I think it was IT Sligo at that time. 8 students began the course, with 6 completing. The course aims to help those whose epilepsy may have impacted on their ability to pursue further education or employment. 4 of the graduates went on to further or third level education, while 2 progressed into employment. Alongside the distribution of our education information packs, we also provided 160 epilepsy information talks for educators in 2021 to help, excuse me, sorry, that's my phone, which is really bad, and I don't actually know where it is. Apologies for this. I don't know, somewhere else in the room. To help them, I'm going to start that again. Alongside the distribution of education information pack, we also provide 160 epilepsy information talks from educators in 2021 to help them support students with epilepsy, reaching a total of 3,100 professionals. On research, in 2021, we directly invested in 1 new research project. The project is co-funded with the Irish Research Council through the Enterprise Partnership Scheme, and our investment totals €30,656 over 2 years. The research is taking place in NUI Galway, investigating whether a new technology called ultrasonic stimulation can regulate electrical activity in the brain. If successful, this is potentially something that could be developed into a future treatment for difficult to treat epilepsies. While there was just 1 new direct research investment in 2021, work continued on several continuing Epilepsy Ireland supported projects, including studies on the impact of driving restrictions for people with epilepsy, the incidence of epilepsy mortality in Ireland, the microbiome as an environmental trigger for autoimmune epilepsies, and the role of microRNAs in the ketogenic diet therapies and as biomarkers in pediatric epilepsy. Another Epilepsy Ireland support project also made national and international headlines in 2021, with Dr. Neil Powell of Queen's University Belfast publishing his findings on whether untrained dogs can predict epilepsy seizures. The findings showed that all dogs included in the studies displayed behavioural changes when confronted with seizure-related disorders. This is a very important study as it confirms something which has been anecdotally reported over many years, and it could lead to new developments in what is a very interesting field. We also issued our 8th research funding call in 2021, inviting applications from researchers, on key epilepsy research priorities as chosen by our members and service users. The selection process continued throughout 2021 and in recent weeks. We received the excellent news that 2 of our 3 proposals are being funded alongside co-funding from the HRB. We also supported 3 applications to the Irish Research Council Enterprise Partnership Scheme late in 2021, and all 3 of these have been successful as well. With these new investments, we are now well on our way to our second 1 million of investment in Irish epilepsy research since 2010. There's more on our website about these new projects, or you can wait for my update next year at the AGM. Fundraising. With the pandemic continuing, fundraising continues to be impacted by the need to social distance and stay safe. The effect was particularly severe for an organisation like Epilepsy Ireland, which relies heavily on community-based fundraising. Paul, our treasurer, will talk a little bit about this, but for now, I would like to put on record our appreciation to our members, supporters and volunteers for their continued support in these incredibly difficult times. I'd like to particularly pay tribute to the family and friends of the late Louise Young, who passed away suddenly from SUDEP in January 2021. Louise was an active fundraising and media volunteer for Epilepsy Ireland, and since her untimely death, there have been incredible efforts in Louise's name to continue her legacy, both in terms of awareness and fundraising. Nearly €40,000 was raised in the immediate weeks following Louise's passing to support Epilepsy Ireland. Thank you to everyone involved in these efforts in memory of Louise, who was clearly taken far too young. With Rose Week coming up as well now as our annual raffle, please continue to do all you can to support our fundraising activities. If you have an idea, then please do talk to our fundraising team. And governance. The board is committed to the highest standard of governance, and we all understand that this is a key obligation, not only in ensuring best practice in all that we do, but also in maintaining the trust and confidence of our members, service users, volunteers and donors. 7 board meetings were held in 2021, all of which were held remotely. A number of key decisions were taken throughout the year, including developing a new strategic plan, approving a new employee handbook, approving the reorganisation of the charity's deposits, and agreeing to launch a new round of Epilepsy Ireland research funding scheme, which I've just talked about, amongst many more items which are outlined in our annual report. We also retained the Charity Institute of Ireland's triple lock standard of compliance with the guidelines for charitable organisations on fundraising from the public, the governance code for the community and voluntary sector, and preparing our financial statements in accordance with SORC for charities. We also attained the IQ Foundation Quality Mark in 2021 for the first time. IQ is a quality standard specifically developed for smaller organisations and assessed the organisation under the indicators of accountability, welcoming, effectiveness and sustainability. The IQ mark replaces the previously held Trusted Charity Standard, which we held from 2015 to 2021. I'd like to thank my fellow board members for their work and support throughout the year. I would also like to thank our CEO, Peter Murphy, for his continued leadership and tireless efforts throughout another challenging year. We are hugely grateful to have an outstanding staff team who, despite the challenges, are determined to achieve a society where no person's life is limited by epilepsy. Very finally, I want to highlight Epilepsy Ireland's new strategic plan, which, as you may know, was launched last weekend at our national conference without me. The plan was developed in consultation with our stakeholders, including our members, service users, volunteers, and members of the epilepsy medical and scientific community over a 6-month period, and approved by the board in April. The plan reiterates our existing vision, provides a new mission statement, and for the first time outlines a set of core values for our organisation. It also highlights 6 strategic priorities that we will work towards over the next 4.5 years to ensure that we continue to meet the needs of the epilepsy community. I'd like to thank everyone who took part in developing this plan, and I'd like to particularly thank my fellow board member Paul Fahy, who took a lot of time out and been on the steering committee, as did Peter and Tara Smith on the staff team. It is an ambitious plan and one that is reflective of the needs and views of the people we support and represent. I would encourage all our members and everyone with an interest in our work to read the plan, get behind the plan, and get behind Epilepsy Ireland as we seek to make the plan a reality. Most importantly for me and all at Epilepsy Ireland, we want to see a society where there is no person's life limited by epilepsy.